This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Right, so the Yamaha Pacifica. So to start off with, this is a guitar that Yamaha sent me. And that is no small thing because they are actually fairly expensive now. I think all of the Yamaha stuff has sort of jumped up in price a little bit. Hopefully that's going to be temporary. So I think at the moment in the UK they're just over £2,000, which is, yeah, quite a bit of money. But I kind of put it about kind of Sir quality, so we're talking about maybe £1,000 or so cheaper than a new Sir, and I think actually this for me is quite a good candidate for a professional guitar essentially, which I don't think there's a huge range of guitars which are sitting in that sort of price point between kind of beginner, mid-price, and then you get to like custom shop price stuff, right? So let me know your thoughts about guitars that are around about the £2,000 mark. If you've got any, if you could, I don't know, chuck them in the comments, send me an email, shoot me a Patreon message, whatever you want to do. However, yes, I finally got a chance to gig it. Now, this is the first gig that I've played actually in over 4 months. So, why is this a good kind of scenario is firstly what I wanted to talk about for actually getting the measure of a guitar. So the first thing is that you're playing the thing non-stop for basically 2 hours. So that's important. You're putting more time into that guitar than you probably would in a normal kind of scenario at home. Second of all, yeah, with that time you really get a better idea of how it feels, A, to play the thing, B, comfortability of the weight, all of that sort of stuff. Also, tuning stability, which I think a gig scenario is actually where you tend to notice if a guitar does have tuning issues. So, not only that as well, I guess you start to feel, because of that, again, like that time that you're putting in, whether you bonded with that guitar as well, and whether it's working for you. I think, I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that as well, but I think it is, there's definitely been gigs, so I've, obviously my number one guitar is like a Strat, but I actually don't necessarily find them my favourite guitars to gig with. I've sort of been on a little bit of a journey of trying to find like that perfect gigging guitar, whether it's something like a Les Paul, which is totally out of the norm for me. The Telecaster, the PRS SE DGT, and again the gig scenario for me with the DGT was where I found out that the tuning stability, if you kind of do a wild bend and go a little bit crazy with the whammy, can be thrown off a bit, right? So I think it's an important thing for me to try that stuff anyway. So the gig itself should have been a nightmare scenario and should have not been that enjoyable. So in the UK, what we have is sort of a bunch of rural venues. This gig was in Cornwall, just on the next county over from me, like on the border between Liskeard and Launceston, if you're au fait with that. Au fait is Cornish for cheese. Anyway, so I found out very short notice that it is going to be a line array gig with no kind of backline really. So it was direct to desk. I had like a little bit coming back from the monitors, also an electric kit, which is, that's the first time I think I've actually played with an electric kit live, which is kind of strange. So yeah, it was a scenario which shouldn't have been that enjoyable, but by the second set was where I started to let go a little bit and try some lead stuff on it, and it just worked fantastically well. And yeah, I sort of had a bit of a scenario where I felt like I was playing the right notes instead of the wrong ones, which isn't always the feeling. I tend to get a little bit hyper focused on things that didn't go perfectly well, like if I'm improvising a solo, particularly live, and I was expecting, because I haven't gigged live for a few months, to get a bit of like that solo nerve stuff, but the comfortability of the guitar, I think, played a big part in, yeah, having a gig that went well, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. The pickups are actually a bit hotter than my Strat, which is fine. Probably a bit hotter than my Les Paul. I've got really low output pickups on my Les Paul, but they do sound really good. It works, and I think that's the main thing. So the neck for me, I think on the Japanese model, for me is the way to go. This does have a compound radius. That wasn't a selling point for me, except for now that I've played it live, and it's like, okay, that's really comfortable. So down here, you've got like 10, kind of a bit more Cordy suitable for playing stuff, and then gradually up here it starts to flatten out. And I did kind of feel really comfortable playing the lead stuff up at this end of the fretboard. The first time that I've noticed the compound radius kind of being spot on. The tuning stability, as I said, was really good. The guitar is lightweight, and here's the point actually. Is that myself and my buddy Jake went to a local shop. I probably won't say exactly which one because this is not super positive. And we tried two Sirs that had just come straight out of the box. So these are like £3,500 guitars. Now both of them were pretty heavy, sort of like £8 over £8, yeah. And not only that, out of the box, these hadn't been set up yet. Both had string buzz issues, like substantial, not like just a little bit of buzz, like actually one basically sounded like a sitar, and yeah, the serious fret buzz. So I think the two things combined probably mean that the wood that the Sir factory is using is maybe a little bit less mature than back in the day than what they used to use, probably. I don't know, something like that. Let me know your thoughts on that as well if you've got them. But the guitars are heavier, and that maybe coming over from America to the UK, you're getting some kind of movement in shipping, to me shows that it's not the most stable wood. And hopefully that's something that Yamaha are getting right, because these are really light guitars, and I think they look great. I think yeah, it's the sort of Pacifica that I'd be happy to play live, and that's kind of the main thing for me. I was looking for something that you could take out and it wouldn't kind of look a little bit frumpy like some of their other stuff. It kind of looks quite modern. The one gripe I have with it actually is that I've got my suit jacket button stuck in here, and I had to enlist the help of Jimmy the House to help me get out. But yes, all round, one of my favourite gigging guitars that I've ever played, actually. I was using this coil split for the humbucker most of the time. Those pickups sound really good live, no ice pickiness, big, full, and spanky when you need it. So yeah, 17 thumbs up for Yamaha. If you've got an alternative that you want to suggest, I guess maybe FGN kind of come to mind as another Japanese made guitar that would be pretty suitable, but something without a wildly skinny neck is what I'm thinking. That, yeah, kind of middle of the road neck specs. If you've got suggestions for that sort of stuff, then please leave them in the comments. Maybe ideally with kind of Goto hardware. This has got Goto locking tuners and a Goto trem, really stable in that way. So yeah, very impressed. I will be gigging this guitar, I think, quite a lot more. Really impressed with it. So just wanted to share that if you were interested in hearing that opinion. It's been a while, and this was kind of my first thought about this was that, you know, you call it professional. We got to try it on a gig and see if it would stack up for that, and absolutely it did. Thanks for stopping by. The preset I was using in the intro there, I was using a variety, I think one was called Pro Reverb-ish, and then my Eric Lead preset, and then a 2203 modified kind of preset. I'll drop them into the folder if you want to check those out on Gumroad, my Helix presets. Thank you for stopping by. Cheers.